Hi guys, I'm ExactChaos and welcome to a brand new series of Transport Fever 2. Yes, the spring update beta has been released, and the spring update, I believe, is coming out early May, 10 May, 7 May, something like that. Not sure exactly, but let's have a quick look at what is in the actual game. So this is not the final version, of course, so there might be things that is a little bit different when the final version of the spring update is out. So there's new challenges in terms of the cities and towns now grow, continue to grow, and population increase as you connect new industries. And the map is also more dynamic in terms of the industries popping up, disappearing, new industries coming in. So that's going to be quite a difference in terms of gameplay from the past, where you could just connect the 2 or 3 or whatever many resources that you had operating. Typically, it was just 2 in vanilla. And now you can actually have all of the kind of stuff be delivered to a town, and that town can grow really spectacularly. There's some improvements to ship wayfinding in terms of ship waypoints. Then better cargo and passenger management. And I think this is something that's going to be really interesting in terms of creating really busy stations. Now you don't have to dedicate, let's say, a platform to one of your routes, but you can actually dynamically assign platforms, and that is going to be a massive difference. There's some cool and interesting things, like you can have some waypoints where the vehicle horn is sounded and triggered and things like that. And then there's some other improvements as well in terms of configuration, colors, how the heads-up display works and things like that. So let's get straight into it. I'm going to do a 3 game. And I think we still have the Megalomaniac from last time available here, but I think I'm just going to do large. We're not going to do super. Temperate is a pretty decent one. Number of towns could be low. If we were to do 1 by 1, so we have a square map, then it's 14 kilometers by 14 kilometers. 1 by 2 is 10 by 20 kilometers. So at least this stretch is like 20 kilometers long. And if we did the very skinny one, it's 31 kilometers. So that's not that much further. So I think something like this, what is that? 8 by 24. I think 1 by 2 is a pretty decent size. So that's like 10 kilometers this way, 20 kilometers that way. That's not bad. Not bad at all. Now, what I want to do in this game, this series, I want to not necessarily connect everything to everything like many other people have tried to do. But what I want to do is connect everything to one city and see how big we can make one of these cities. And obviously that'll require us to connect to other cities, but I want to see how big we can get it. Now, large, let's just see how large is very large. It's not much bigger, to be honest. 11 by 22. That's not much bigger at all. So maybe something like a very large map. We're not going to go huge. 1 by 2. Number of towns, low, medium. How many do we get if we go medium? Just want to have a look here. Maybe if we're going to go very large, though, I don't know if medium is the right thing for us. Maybe low is the right thing for us to do instead. I'm kind of contemplating that we need to pick something somewhere and then start connecting it. And we can do any of these. This is a good enough map as anything. Hilliness, there's a fair bit of hilliness in here, so we'd either do tunnels or go around. Areas like this can be pretty challenging to deal with, but there's plenty of open space to deal with. Water is not too problematic, though. In a case like this, we won't necessarily be using water transport. We'll need to do a little bit more water if we wanted to do that, for instance. So we could do water like this, potentially. That's something we could do. I'm not sure if that's necessarily what I'd be after. I think maybe that is the right amount of water. We'll have a number of little bridges here, but maybe ships aren't going to be the thing. Forest doesn't really matter. I could give it a little generate random seed. Oh, yeah, actually, we might get a little bit more action here in terms of water transport. Yeah, water transport will be a little bit more feasible with a setup like this, where we at least have one city that's right on the river and we can actually bring stuff in. So that could be of some interest. So I think that's what we're going to play. Now, we'll go to next, and then we'll see. We are going to use, in terms of settings, I have mods installed, but I've switched them all off. I want to play a vanilla game this time around. So let's go back to that. Now, we are going to start in, I think, 1920. If you start back here, 1850, you just have so little to go on. Oh, these don't actually, I can't actually click which vehicle set I'm getting. That's interesting. Can I do that here? Okay, we'll go back. Let's go back first, and then we'll see. 1920, income difficulty. The interesting thing now, I believe you can, in fact, change as you go. I'm going to do medium. They've added very hard. It's easy, medium, and hard was last there, I believe. And it's not hard, has never been easy. But just because this is kind of new, a lot of new elements, let's try medium as a start. We can up it. If it's getting too easy, we can change it while we're playing, which is an interesting new concept. Town cargo demanded up to 6, so it has to grow up to 6. So I think that's the maximum. Industry closure is rarely. Industry density is medium. I think all of that is fine. Let's go to the advanced settings over here. So here we can say temperate. Oh, here we can select which vehicles we're going to grab. I think I am going to go with the European ones. I do like them. Or actually, I've done them a lot. Let's go with the American ones. We'll go with the European town names. Ooh, actually, we can do a variety of different style town names. English, Korean, Russian, American. Oh, well, let's go with American. Let's play a temperate American map, income difficulty medium. Now, the interesting thing is here, you can do some additional settings to tweak things around a little bit in terms of maximum allowed bank loans, loan interest rates, vehicle purchase costs, and things like that. Yeah, I don't know. Vehicle purchase costs. Mods are active or advanced settings are modified. Achievements can be earned. Oh, interesting. So I need to do all of this to earn achievements. Okay, that's okay. All of those are pretty much good. Public transport destinations. Yeah, so see, if you do it anyway, it's going to start being issues. But private transport destinations, cargo supply, station crowdedness, traffic congestion, emissions. Oh, that's the town growth factors and the impact that they have on town growth. I think let's just leave it as is. We've gone American style now, and we're starting 1920s. So let's hit that button and see about setting up our first bits and pieces. I'm going to have a sip of water while we wait. I have always loved Transport Fever. Ever since Train Fever, I've played Train Fever, Transport Fever 1, Transport Fever 2. Transport Fever 2 has been absolutely amazing. They've all been good for the times of their release, but this game, Transport Fever, is pretty good. Not pretty good, it's awesome. And the fact that they keep bringing out these updates free of charge is absolutely amazing as well. It is taking a bit of time. Oh, I believe there's a much better color palette as well. Frequency of the line indicates the time interval between the vehicles. Yes, that's fair enough. So now the color palette is you can do like full RGB spectrum of colors. So your lines you can have an an infinite number of lines, but colors of lines. Okay, here let's see what we have to work with. Let's pause the game, January the 2nd, 1920, and let's have a look at what we've got. I've got no mods on, so it's all basic stuff. So there you can see the American naming convention. So one thing that is always a good way of starting is if you pick a place that does start with construction materials, for the reason that you can create construction materials fairly easily. It's a fairly simple process. It's basically go from the quarry to the stone quarry to this facility over here, construction materials plant, and then you drop that off directly over there. But since we don't have a stone quarry nearby, that one is a bit of a problem. All of these have similar things. This is a pretty easy supply chain also. So you can come and go to the food processing, and then you've got food available. And food is a pretty good one. Nothing in the rest of the vicinity really needs food. So you'd be pretty much by yourself. I'm going to try and plan out something that's going to be a fairly easy starting point, just so that we can make a bit of money. This would have been good if they wanted food over here. Now, they would demand food pretty quickly, I believe, but we will need to provide other goods in order to get there in the first place. Do we have a town? We don't have a town on the water, do we? Unless it was this one, Colorado Springs, that could eventually grow in there. But we don't really have an easy town on there. Fort Worth is just as close. Okay, let's move on down here. Lancaster. We've got, but they don't demand anything that we create in this vicinity. I'm just trying to figure out what is a good starting point for us. And these things will change, to be honest. So we'll need to bear that in mind. We really, okay, there we can do construction materials, potentially if we build a little road through there. But yeah, it's not going to be very easy for us to make a start here. Because, yeah, there's no quick and easy supply chains. Who needs food? Someone's got to need food. I think food is ultimately one of the ones that we're going to have to do. But none of the guys that want food. No, that's one doesn't want food. That is bizarre. It's keeping us. It's going to make it life very difficult for us to make a start. I think we're going to have to make a start in New Haven over here. And the question then in my mind is, do we grow from New Haven? New Haven would also be a pretty ideal spot to start a train line right in the middle of the city. It's like somewhere over here. Maybe demolish one commercial building and have a little bit of a roadway come in here, and then have the train station right in there. And that should be able to allow people to connect all the way from there. So potentially New Haven is the one for us, because we can have vehicles running through here. Yeah, we can have them running through here, dropping off there and going there that way. Yeah, something like that. So that seems to me to be a pretty good starting point. Other stuff will grow, and we might jump onto those opportunities as they pop up. But at the moment, like, we don't have quarried stone. Oh, there's quarried stone. So we could potentially kind of build a bridge over here, connect up there, and then have this guy run through there. That could also work, and we could do this here and that there, and this could be our first line between cities. Yeah, so that I think is a pretty decent starting point. Let's dig in and start that with the plan. Now, we are after a cargo truck station. It would want to go into this area over here so that it can feed all of these food producing buildings. Now, it will run all the way through that side. So if we, always forget the kind of buttons that you need to use here. So if we do something like that, not spending too much money off the bat. So I'm going to go with this guy. Okay, so we'll go with that. I'm going to go and straight go into configure and expand it a little bit more. And interestingly now, oh crap, that doesn't actually want to work. That is, how bizarre. I had no idea we were in such close vicinity. Doesn't make a lot of sense, does it? Shall I redo it? We will get our refund because we haven't unpaused. So let's redo that. I believe, it's not quite a full refund. Let's move it away just a tad, something like that. That's going to be okay. It's going to use that exact same one. That's cost us a little bit of money, of course. Can I configure it? Yes, please. So now what is that? Well, it's weird. It's weird to say the least. So I wanted to add a little bit of that over there. Just make it a little bit bigger. I'll add a small cargo building. Oh, it wants to add it in very inopportune areas. Ooh, I don't mind that. If we do something like that, oh, the cost of that is enormous. Okay, I'm not going to do that then. Let's go to street access. I'm going to add street access over here. Okay, and what we'll do is we'll link it up right on this side. So let's grab ourselves a little bit of a road. And I'm going to start with these kind of vehicles because... road vehicles, these kind of vehicles. I'm going to start with road vehicles because road vehicles is so much cheaper to run initially, and it's easier to get that initial level of profit. So we'll go in there, we'll expand our operation up there a little bit. So potentially that will drop out and there'll become an extra road connection through there. We can certainly, I shouldn't be spending tons of money like this. So let's just leave that be. So there's our starting point. We will also at the same time need a depot building. And I believe it will fit in here. Oh, come on. So close. Let's just see if we turn it a little bit, can we make it fit somewhere? Well, I'm going to be a little pedantic about it, and I'm going to do it the other way around then. So now I'm actually wasting money. So what I'll do is we'll do this as a starting point. We'll place the building there, and then we'll tie that in. And I believe, it doesn't actually want to tie in. Wow. That's interesting. Oh, we can do it. That's weird. Anyway, we'll leave it as is. Potentially there's other stuff that'll go in there and maybe other stuff will develop. That's not quite what I had in mind for the town, but anyway, that'll do. Now, we want to pick up, so we're going to run through town over here. So what we'll do is we'll get a little facility, pickup facility over here somewhere as well. So a cargo building right over here. Now, the question is, we could do something like this, right? There we go. That seems reasonable. So if I do that, and again, what we'll do is we'll add a few of the cargo kind of spots on there, maybe just like that. Oh, I think that should be fine. We'll provide some additional street access over here. And then from that street access, we'll connect onto the main road here, probably through, well, it's not going to let us do that connection though. So that's a little annoying. I don't think it's required though. So let's go here. Let's remove that. We should have this connection directly in there. That should be fine because the guys will just come in and out that way. Okay, that's good. No big deals here. Now, on this side, we want to do exactly the same thing. We want to make sure that we've got a facility here. So we'll get our cargo facility. We're going to try and do it so that it's... yeah, that should be fine. That's close enough. So we're going to try and save as much as we can in terms of distance. That'll be A-okay. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to again add some additional platform space here. It is, well, is it that pricey? Yeah, it is. It is that pricey. It is that pricey. I'll do a little bit like that, just so that we've got that extra close connection over there. That's all good. I'm going to leave it as is. So there we go. That is going to be our very first line, and we should be able to make a fair bit from it. Now, let's see. The new line is going to be New Haven Food, right? Is what we're going to call it. In the past, I had some line and naming conventions, but for the time being, we'll just stick with it. If you've got some ideas around the naming convention that we should use, please let me know. Now, we're going to add a station. Initially, you're going to head up over this way. You're going to pick up the wheat or what have you. You're going to make your way through town to the facility, and on the way back, you're going to drop it off in town and then head out that way. And that is going to be the situation. What we'll do here, this is where the new dynamic comes in. We will say you can use any of the platforms. Now, for these, it's obviously not as severe, but you can use any of the platforms, basically, is what we're saying. So there we go. That is a starting point for us. We will start it off by buying nice vehicles to move this cargo around. So the Ben start pulling over here. But I think they're all pretty samey in terms of what they cost. So I'm just going to go with like 10 of these guys at 800,000. I think that's a pretty good starting point. So we'll go ahead, buy 10 of them, and we will assign them all to New Haven Food Line, and we will start the game. I will speed it up straight away. There we go. Our first 10 vehicles is on the move. No trains yet. Only trucks, and hopefully we should start seeing production happening straight away. Look at that. We've got what is it saying it produces? It doesn't actually say what it produces. It doesn't have a name, but I'm assuming it's like wheat or something. It's items from the farm is what it is. So there we go. Our vehicles are on the way. Now, I am keen that we at some point start setting up a line to come over here. But I want us to make a little bit of money before we do so. Now, the question is also, where do we set ourselves our train station? We can start the planning a little bit around this. So do we do a terminal station like this? I believe if we do a terminal station right in this location over here, we should be able to expand it pretty nicely. It's at 160 meters now. We should be able to provide potential road access through a house over there. So I think that should be pretty reasonable if we do something like that. And I think I'm going to go ahead and build it so that it is there ready to go. I'll move it. Actually, you know what? I'll move it back a tad. Okay, I don't necessarily want to pause the game, but what I'm interested in doing is grabbing a street right there and running it through there. That's not too expensive. So I'm very keen on doing it like that. So what I'll do is I'll pause it. We're going to buy that. That additional access that it's going to provide us here is going to be enormously good for us. So I'm going to go and build that road through there and this road through there. So we've got pretty decent connection through all of these facilities. Now, go back, grab our guy here. Now, the question is, do we go and shorten things a little bit at a reduced cost? We are picking up a fair bit more stuff by doing it this way. If we expand it to 160, we can provide an extra access point to there, and it'll allow more walking access, basically. Would 120 do it? 120 would also do it. So let's throw 120 in there. I'm not too sure that is going to work. And to be honest, I'm thinking, no, we would want to at least have the platform on the side there. Okay, so let's place it right over there. So now I can go ahead and start unpause it again. Things are happening. So now if we go to MISC and I add this guy there, potentially that's not great. Let's add a little step of platform in that location, and we'll go back to MISC and we'll... Yeah, to be honest, we can grab it there. We don't have to do the platform section. Let's go with that. go out of there. And what I'm doing, I'm pausing it one more time just because I don't necessarily want things to get out of hand here. There we go. And what we could do is we can later pop a bit of a public transport station in there should we need to. Now you can see we're almost connecting to everything in this town from that station. So from my perspective, that's a pretty good spot to have a station. Now these guys should be carrying lots and lots of stuff. So hopefully they are moving through fairly quickly. I would like us to see the sale of our very first items. We should be making a little bit of money now. Money coming in. 33 is not bad. Money coming in. That guy will now, in fact, pick up the food as well. Money coming in. Nice. And this guy, how much food does this guy have on board? This guy has 0. This guy should have food. 6 of 9 food. So it's starting to happen. It is starting to happen. This guy will pop through there, not sell anything, but the next one will start selling some stuff. And so hopefully we'll start seeing a little bit of money rolling in. Now my question with some of these things is, can I switch this off? I was wondering if I could switch off some facilities because I'm paying maintenance on all of these buildings. And that's, of course, not the greatest thing to do, like 100. Well, it's not significant, but every little bit you're spending now is money that you don't have to spend on more vehicles, expanding your routes, all these kind of things. Now, of course, we are now starting to bring in some food here, which will start seeing an expansion of this town in terms of goods demands and things like that. So I'm just keen on making a fair bit of money, ramping up our production. There's a lot of stuff waiting to go here, and we're actually starting to lose some stuff. I think it's about time to get the next 10. So I'll buy another 10 of these tarpaulin guys. They're pretty slow, actually. So I'll go with another 10 of them at 800,000, and we will go ahead and assign them to this same line. So there we go. So now hopefully we're going to start speeding up some stuff and having more and more vehicles on the line waiting to move some food around to the town. Now, one of the other things that I'm going to do right now is I'm going to go ahead and do a little bit of this over here just to make sure we don't have any kind of vehicles or any kind of buildings popping up in my station area over here. So that's basically what I'm going to do right there. Just want to make sure we don't have any funny business happening here with buildings popping up, because they will cause us grief in the future. Similarly, I will kind of I want to do this instead, like so. Just make sure that we are keeping this area clear, because there's a building that's actually gone away from right over here. So what we could do while wrong buttons. What we could do is I could actually build a bit of a road right there. I'll do the cheaper of the two, like that. We'll do that road. Hopefully they'll upgrade that themselves. I'll get rid of that one. So that should help us out a little bit with some additional access. Yeah, there we go. That's the upgrade. Now, what I was wondering is maybe we can actually put in a bus stop here. So this guy. That doesn't want to work. Oh, there's a plane. Yeah, that's not going to squeeze in there, but we could squeeze it in on this side. So what I'll do is I'll get rid of that, which obviously is a bit of a waste of money, of course. But then what we'll do is I'm going to place this guy. And of course, I can't do that. That one over there. We'll place this one in now. Oh, that's not bad. I don't mind that. There we go. So now we'll have a bus stop over here. So the bus will come and drop people off right there. So now that's a pretty decent setup. So we've got a bit of long-term longevity going on here. Now, the only thing that we need to bear in mind is we're losing a fair bit of money at the moment, but that might still be the cost of buying vehicles as opposed to the operating costs that we're dealing with. But we need to be fairly cautious. I wouldn't mind seeing a quarry pop up somewhere over here. That would be pretty pristine if we can pick that up. There's a number of farms here that we can tap into, but I think this setup that we've got going on right now is probably about the best. There we go. Is it just me, or are we turning a profit? Let's have a quick look at this line. This line is starting to run a pretty nifty balance. A pretty nifty balance. So much so that we could consider expanding their operation even more. If we have a quick look over here, what is that looking like? We're in 34 of 52 food. So we could up that game a little bit more and provide even more food. Now, the way this whole setup thing works is we need level 2 buildings to generate an additional demand. So there's an overlay somewhere over here. There we go. These, I believe, are level 2 buildings. But they will start to generate, as we get more level 2 buildings, they'll start to generate an additional demand. At the moment, they're only demanding food. So anyway, that's okay. We should see a fair bit happening now. I've allocated a fair bit of room, and that's something that this game could use. If you could zone an area, right, to be undevelopable, right, so that you don't have to do this thing with the roads. If you zoned an area, could you draw a little polygon, and I don't want that. That is not what I want. I don't want that connection. You could draw a little polygon there and say, guys, you can't develop in this specific area. That would make a big difference to playing it like this. But this is effectively going to be our a center part of town, and so we'll keep an eye on that. We want to keep doing this. So because it's going to keep doing that and mess us up, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to grab a little bit of extra street here. And hopefully that'll stop what was happening over there. Yeah, hopefully that'll stop it completely. But yeah, good. Now, money isn't flowing in, but it's a pretty decent turnaround on this one at about 400k on the route. It's not bad at all, but it's not gonna make us wealthy quickly. But at least it's some level of work that's actually happening there. Now, these episodes, I've got about a half an hour already. We did a bit of explaining at the start, and I'm not going to make these episodes too long. Between 30 and 40 minutes is, I think, what we're going to do. So I'm going to go for another 8 or so minutes in this episode. And I think we're only going to basically set this up. We did a bit of planning. I think the next stop for us is Colorado Springs over there. Let's have a quick look at our, not navigable waters, but at our topography. If we want a train to come out here, it could quite comfortably kind of nip through here somewhere, hug the mountain here, go around and run alongside Colorado Springs somewhere over here with a view that it can split off to other places. Yes, and there is a food requirement over there. So potentially then going from Colorado Springs to Worcester, would be a good idea, because we can have more food being generated in this specific area. And I think that'll be quite useful. So I think that is kind of what our plan needs to be. Our money is rolling in a little bit more aggressively at the moment now. That's dropping off a little. So I'm assuming we need to drop some more food here. We probably need this thing to speed up even more. So I'm thinking what I'm going to do is I'm going to do another round of vehicles here. Another round of 10, and I think that should probably have us up and running. So go on to New Haven, start the run. That's a fair bit of money that we've now spent on that. Now, I'll come on over to Colorado Springs and we'll set up our station in this location. So now we're going to do a side loaded station. We're going to turn this thing And I think the way I would like to set it up is... Now, I can't... Let's just see, where can we do it? If we do it... well, regardless, I probably need to set it up something like this. If we wanted to do that and potentially run this road all the way through. Yeah, I think that's what we're going to do. Some new vehicles is available. Oh, look at that guy. It's like a little rail bus thingy. Yes, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to set it up in this very spot. That's about 150k. It's not the end of the world. We will grab ourselves a road. We will link it up through there. And then also link it up. Yeah, actually, potentially all the way up to there. Do that and see if that... we'll do a little bit of... Ooh, actually. Be honest, probably do a little bit of this. And then run it straight down that way. Yes, there we go. So now the rail can run through there. So what I will do is I will grab our very first piece of track and make sure to do our crossing through there, and similarly do our crossing through the other side there, just to make sure that we kind of safeguard some of this area just a little bit. So that's going to be our Colorado Springs access point there. There will be a lot of connectivity. Unfortunately, we're not getting the walking distance that we would have liked. I wouldn't have minded getting a little bit more from the walking distance. It's just not quite getting where we want. So this is going to be problematic for us as a starting point, given that this station is so far out of town. I could have presumably done it on this side, which would have been a little bit better for us. But anyway, we'll have to run some other things there as well. Now, if we go back to this, ooh, it's actually dropping a little bit. We're not quite seeing the increased productivity here. I think we're just going to start shipping a little bit more now. Yeah, we need these guys to space out a little bit more, I think. They will need to run a little bit more, I think. It hasn't upgraded yet, but presumably it will upgrade fairly soon. Yeah, we're definitely gonna start seeing a higher productivity here very soon, very soon. Okay, well, what I'm gonna do in the next couple of minutes, I'm gonna start planning out the rail line towards Colorado Springs. So I'm gonna just start with a straight shot for a while out of there, and then we're going to bank to the side here at the 120k turning radius. There we go, something like that. We're gonna dash it through there. There's even more planes coming in. We're gonna dash it through there, and then we're going to basically run it through this section. It's a little bit of a cut that it's trying to do there. Now, I don't want it to be super cutty, but I also don't want it to be like going over hills too badly. Now, if we turn again, so that's now a pretty significant fill because we didn't cut to the extent that we should have, potentially. And that's always how it kind of works, but also probably can run it a little bit more like that. So that's a bit more of an aggressive... Whoa! Why does that want to actually go... Anyway, and we're cutting again. I don't want it to be tunneling stuff. That's a bit of a straight section. So I'm doing little by little because I don't want to do too much in the line of earthworks at this stage. We just want to save as much money as we can. By not spending too much on the earthworks, basically. That's pretty good. Do I want to... I probably don't want to go over the hill there. Let's turn it out a little bit more. We'll cut through there a little. And then we'll go nuts and turn this way. Yep, I think that is okay. Continue the turn at the 120 kilometer an hour. And then I think this is a straight shot through here. And then we'll turn in at the end there. So let's see how we can do that. Pretty straight shot through there. Now what we want to do is turn this pretty aggressively, but only at 120. Ooh. There we go. Something like that. And do we tie that in at 120? There we go. So that's our very first section of line built. Obviously, buying a train to run this route is going to be the next big ticket item for us. And we will do that in the next episode. So that's our very first section. It doesn't look too badly. I mean, obviously, it can be better. It's going a little bit uphill, then a little bit downhill, then even a little bit of cut. It's just a little weird through there. But anyway, it's a fairly straight shot, hugging the mountain, going around and getting into Colorado Springs. So I think that's a pretty good setup. It's just a single line at the moment. We will need to get ourselves a depot up and running. That would be good for us to do. And then we move it from there. That's too expensive. We can't even barely afford it. We'll have to do something way cheaper than that. See, this is problematic because this was never the plan. But at least they're super small and wouldn't be too expensive to get rid of. But that was never the plan. The intention was never to make that happen. So what I want to do is basically do this. Yeah, anyway, it's all problematic. Everybody's like walking places because they're now all interconnected. I shouldn't have interconnected them. Anyway, that's okay. What's happening with our line? Just want to have a look. That line is generating a fair bit of money now. Can we see a bit of development happening over here? Yeah, that's a pretty decent commercial building. They haven't actually started demanding anything else yet, but that demand is popping up a little bit more. At some point, we may want to bypass some of these vehicles to get straight over here with only one round of vehicles running through the town. But I think for the time being, it's pretty good. They are a little clumped up, which is not ideal for what we're trying to achieve. But all in all, pretty good. In the next episode, what we will do is we will start our very first terrain line between New Haven and Colorado Springs over there. But yeah, that should be pretty exciting. Guys, thank you so much for watching. If you've enjoyed it, please hit that like button. As always, that comment and like is very much appreciated, especially on a new series. Share it around with your friends that would find this interesting. I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.